Aloha, and welcome to the Hawaii Travel Made Easy podcast, your go-to resource for planning an unforgettable Hawaii vacation. I'm Marcie, a mom of two and a Hawaii travel expert. If you're new here, I've been to Hawaii more than 40 times, so I've experienced just about every season on the islands. I know exactly what it's like to wonder, when is the best time to go to Hawaii? Maybe you're trying to figure out when flights are cheapest, or you're wondering when Hawaii is least crowded, or you just want the best weather possible for your dream vacation. No matter what's driving your decision, I'm breaking it all down for you today. By the end of this episode, you'll note the pros and cons of visiting Hawaii during peak season, shoulder season, and off-peak times, plus insider tips to make the most of your trip no matter when you go. I'll also share my personal favorite time to visit based on years of experience. And before we get started, I want to mention that if you're looking for a stress-free way to plan your trip, I have 7-day itineraries for each Hawaiian island, as well as an island hopping guide with 1 to 3-day itineraries for each island. These guides include my favorite hotels, restaurants, and must-do activities, plus links to book tours and experiences so you can plan with ease. You can find them on my blog and on Amazon. So grab a notepad or just sit back and dream about Hawaii because we're diving in. Before we talk about specific months, let's go over Hawaii's weather and travel seasons. Hawaii has 2 main seasons. There's dry season, which is April through September. This is typically warmer and drier. There's also the wet season, which is October through March. This is when you'll see more rain, especially on the windward, which is the northeast sides of the islands. Temperatures stay pretty consistent year-round, usually in the mid-70s to the mid-80s Fahrenheit, which is 24 to 29 degrees Celsius. The ocean is warm enough to swim in any time of year. But here's what most people don't realize. Even within one island, weather varies a lot. Windward sides, like Hilo on the Big Island, are wetter. Leeward sides, like Waikiki on Oahu or Lahaina on Maui, are drier. Higher elevations, like Haleakala on Maui, can get cold, even freezing. So, when people ask, what's the weather like in Hawaii? My answer is always, it depends on where you are. Okay, let's talk about how to score the best deals on flights to Hawaii. One of the biggest concerns for travelers is how to find affordable flights to Hawaii. Here's what you need to know. For the best times to book flights, here are the best times to book flights for peak season, which is December through March. I recommend booking 6 to 12 months in advance. For shoulder season, which is April to June and September through November, you'll want to book 3 to 6 months in advance for the best deals. And for off-peak summer, which is late July and August, you'll want to book 4 to 6 months in advance, especially around school breaks. For money-saving strategies, I recommend using Google Flights and Hopper to track price drops. You might also consider flying midweek. Tuesdays and Wednesdays often have lower fares. You can also look at alternate airports. Sometimes flying into Maui or Big Island and then hopping to Oahu is cheaper than flying direct. And then you can also leverage airline miles and points. Hawaiian Airlines, Alaska Airlines, and Southwest have great redemption options. So, one of the most exciting parts of visiting Hawaii is getting to experience the local culture through festivals and events. If you're flexible with your travel dates, you may want to plan your trip around one of these incredible celebrations. During winter, which is December through February, there's Honolulu City Lights in December, where Honolulu transforms into a tropical winter wonderland with festive decorations, parades, and light displays. There's also the humpback whale migration, January through April. Whale watching is at its peak, especially on Maui, where you can often spot whales from the shore. There's also North Shore surf competitions, November through February, where Oahu's North Shore hosts some of the world's biggest surfing competitions, like the Eddie Aikau Big Wave Invitational. There's also the Maui Whale Festival, which is a month-long celebration with parades, educational programs, and guided whale watching tours. In the springtime, there is the Merry Monarch Festival, which is usually in April, and that's known as the Olympics of Hula. It's a week-long festival in Hilo that celebrates traditional Hawaiian dance and culture. There's also Lei Day on May 1st. It's a statewide celebration of the Hawaiian lei, featuring lei-making contests, music, and performances. There's the Kona Brewers Festival, where beer lovers can sample craft brews from Hawaii and beyond while supporting local charities. And there's the Waikiki Spam Jam, which is a quirky festival in Honolulu celebrating Hawaii's love for Spam, with food booths, live music, and fun activities. During the summer, there's the King Kamehameha Day, which is June 11th, and there's parades, hula performances, and cultural events honoring King Kamehameha, who united the Hawaiian Islands. There's also the Oban festivals, which is a Japanese tradition celebrated across Hawaii, featuring lively bond dances, lantern ceremonies, and food booths. And there's the Prince Lot Hula Festival, which is one of Hawaii's largest non-competitive hula festivals, showcasing traditional and modern hula performances. And in the fall, there are the Aloha Festivals in September, which is a month-long celebration of Hawaiian culture, music, and traditions across the islands. There is also the Kona Coffee Festival in November, which is a 10-day event celebrating the world-famous Kona coffee with tastings, farm tours, and cultural activities. And there's the Hawaii International Film Festival, screenings of films from across the Pacific, plus filmmakers, questions and answers, and special events. Attending a Hawaiian festival or cultural event adds so much to your trip. Not only do you get to experience Hawaiian traditions, but you also meet locals, enjoy amazing food, and see performances you won't find anywhere else. Okay, so now that we've talked about festivals, let's go into the peak season. So now that we've talked about festivals and events, let's break down all the different seasons you can visit Hawaii. Let's start with Hawaii's busiest time of year, winter. So the pros of visiting Hawaii during the peak season in winter is that it's the perfect escape from the cold weather on the mainland. It's also humpback whale season, which runs December to April, and Maui is one of the best places in the world to see them. There's also big events like the Honolulu Festival in March and the big wave surf competitions on Oahu's North Shore. But there are also some cons. For one, everything is more expensive. Flights and hotels are at their highest prices. Crowds can be intense. Expect long waits at restaurants and attractions. And weather can be unpredictable. The North Shore gets big waves and more rain. So a few tips for visiting during the peak season. I recommend booking flights and hotels at least 6 to 12 months in advance for the best rates. You also might want to stay in less touristy areas. So like instead of Waikiki, maybe try Ko'olina on Oahu. And pack a light rain jacket. Showers pop up unexpectedly. If you want the best mix of good weather, fewer crowds, and decent prices, shoulder season is where it's at. That's April to June and September to November. The pros are that it's perfect weather. That means less rain, warm temperatures, and lower humidity. There are also fewer tourists, which equal cheaper flights and hotels. And it's great for outdoor activities like hiking and snorkeling. The cons are that there are fewer major festivals and events, and some resorts and attractions do maintenance during this time, especially pool renovations. So a few tips for visiting during shoulder season. April and May are great for wildflowers and waterfalls. September and October are perfect for calm ocean conditions, making them ideal for snorkeling. And if you're flexible, check for last-minute flight deals. Okay, here's something surprising. Summer is not peak season for Hawaii tourism. A few pros are that it's the warmest ocean temps, which is perfect for swimming and snorkeling. There's also longer daylight hours, which equals more time for exploring. And it's great for families because school's out and there are more kid-friendly events. But there are still some cons. It's usually more expensive flights, especially around the 4th of July. There's higher humidity. Hiking and long outdoor excursions can feel extra sweaty. And popular family-friendly spots can get crowded, like Hanauma Bay on Oahu or Haleakala sunrise tours. A few tips for visiting during summer. Please book your flights early because prices spike around school breaks. You'll want to stay hydrated and plan outdoor activities for early mornings or late afternoons. And late July or August tend to have better deals than earlier in the summer. All right, let's talk about a few unexpected costs. Traveling to Hawaii is an incredible experience, but many first-time visitors underestimate some of the hidden costs that can add up quickly. So here's what to watch out for. Resort fees. Many hotels charge daily fees for amenities like pools, Wi-Fi, and gym access. These can range from $25 to $50 per night. There's also parking costs. In cities like Waikiki, hotel parking can be $40 or more per night. If you're staying in a central location, consider using public transportation instead of renting a car if you're staying in Waikiki. There's also holiday surcharges. So restaurants, luau's, and activities often increase their prices during peak travel season, like Christmas, New Year's, and summer break. There's also national park entry fees. Places like Haleakala and Hawaii Volcanoes National Park charge entrance fees. If you plan on visiting multiple parks, consider getting an annual pass to save money. This is the same pass that you can use on the mainland. There's also food and grocery costs. Groceries in Hawaii are expensive because everything has to get shipped in. So shopping at local farmers markets can help cut costs while enjoying fresh local produce. You'll also want to keep in mind rental car shortages. Prices can skyrocket in peak season and cars may sell out completely, so book well in advance. Being aware of these costs ahead of time can help you budget properly and avoid sticker shock during your trip. If you're considering visiting multiple islands, timing and logistics are key. While island hopping can be an amazing way to see more of Hawaii, it's not always the best choice depending on the season and how much time you have. So here are my best island pairings for different seasons. For winter, which is December through March, Maui and the Big Island are perfect for whale watching and exploring volcanoes. During the spring, April through June, Oahu and Kauai are perfect for great weather and fewer crowds. During the summer, which is July and August, Big Island and Maui are perfect for family. The Big Island and Maui are great for snorkeling, volcanoes, and family-friendly activities. And during the fall, September through November, Kauai and Lanai have lush landscapes and quieter beaches. Now let's talk about flight versus ferry options. Most island hopping is done via inter-island flights, which are typically 30 to 50 minutes long. These happen at the regular airport. The only ferry option is between Maui and Lanai, making it a great way to explore a smaller island without flying. There are no other ferries in between the islands. You will need to take an inter-island flight. Okay, so should you island hop? If you have less than 7 days, I'd stick to one island to avoid wasting time on airport transfers. If you have 10 or more days, consider visiting 2 islands. If you have 2 weeks or more, you could visit 3 or more islands, but make sure you allow for at least 3 to 4 nights per island to truly enjoy it. Island hopping is incredible when planned correctly. But if you don't want to deal with the extra flights, sticking to one island can still give you a perfect Hawaiian getaway. All right, now let's talk about how to avoid overcrowding and tourist traps. Hawaii is one of the most popular vacation destinations in the world, and that means crowds at major attractions. So here's how to enjoy Hawaii without feeling overwhelmed by tourists. Okay, when to visit major attractions. I suggest going early in the morning. Haleakala Sunrise, Hanauma Bay, and Pearl Harbor fill up fast. Another option is to visit in the late afternoon. Most tours clear out after lunch, making spots like Waikiki Beach and Waimea Canyon more peaceful. There are also some hidden gem alternatives to touristy spots. Maybe you want to skip crowded Waikiki Beach and try Waimanalo Beach or Lanikai Beach. If you want to avoid Hanauma Bay crowds, maybe snorkel at Sharks Cove or Electric Beach instead. Maybe you want to replace Road to Hana with a less intense scenic drive. Try the West Maui Loop, which has similar landscapes but fewer tourists. And instead of a big commercial luau, book a smaller cultural experience. Look for intimate hula shows or farm-to-table luau's. Now let's talk about the best days of the week to visit top attractions. You might want to avoid Monday and Tuesdays because many attractions are closed or extremely busy after the weekend. Plan your beach days for weekdays, because locals head to the beaches on the weekends, making parking tough. And check cruise ship schedules. Cruise ship passengers flood certain areas, so plan accordingly. And if you want to beat the crowds, book your activities and dining reservations in advance. Popular luau's, restaurants, and excursions fill up quickly. You might also want to stay outside of tourist hubs. So instead of Waikiki, stay in Ko'olina or the North Shore on Oahu. Instead of Ka'anapali, try Napili or Kihei on Maui. And explore early or late in the day. Sunrise hikes and sunset strolls let you enjoy Hawaii's beauty with fewer people around. By planning smartly and considering alternatives, you can have an amazing trip without feeling like you're stuck in tourist traps. Okay, let's talk about what to pack for Hawaii based on the season you're traveling. Packing for Hawaii isn't just about swimsuits and flip-flops. What you bring should depend on when you visit and what you plan to do. So here are my recommendations. If you're visiting during the rainy season, which is October through March, I suggest bringing a light rain jacket or poncho. Showers are common, especially on the windward sides. I'd also bring a waterproof phone case and a dry bag, and this keeps your valuables dry during boat tours or unexpected rain. And bring reef-safe bug spray because mosquitoes are more active in wet conditions. For the summer, which is April through September, I suggest bringing sunscreen reef safe, and at least 30 SPF because the sun is intense year-round, but especially during the summer. You'll also want wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses, which are essential for beach days and hikes. And you might think about a cooling towel and hydration pack, which helps prevent overheating on hot hikes. For cooler and high elevation areas, you'll definitely want layers. If you're visiting Haleakala or Mauna Kea, temperatures can drop below freezing. You might also want lightweight gloves and a beanie, and this sounds extreme, but you'll be glad to have them at the summit. There's also a few things that you do not want to pack. Definitely don't pack too many dressy outfits. Hawaii is casual, even at high-end restaurants. You won't want heavy beach towels because most hotels provide them. You don't need an umbrella. Strong trade winds will flip it inside out, so stick with a rain jacket instead. And snorkel gear. Unless you're bringing high-end gear, most tours provide rentals or you can get them from any rental shop. Packing smart ensures that you'll be comfortable, prepared, and won't waste space in your luggage. All right, so we've covered all the seasons, but when do I personally think is the best time to visit Hawaii? For me, late April to early June is the sweet spot, and here's why. There's gorgeous weather, lower prices in winter, not as many crowds, and perfect conditions for snorkeling and hiking. But if you're a whale watching fan, January to March is unbeatable. Just be ready for the higher prices. All right, that's a wrap on today's episode. Hopefully this helped you figure out when to book your dream Hawaii trip. So quick recap, peak season is December through March, which is great for whale watching, but it's pricey. Shoulder seasons are April through June and September through November, which is the best balance of weather, prices, and crowds. In summertime, July through August, is great for families, but it can be humid and busy. Need help planning? Grab my 7-day Hawaii itineraries or my island hopping guide on my blog or Amazon. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe and leave a review. It helps more travelers plan their dream Hawaii vacation. Mahalo for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Aloha.